Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. This is the most prestigious video in the IWC, our second annual STOMP Wrestling Awards. You know that if it's on the STOMP channel and if it's the STOMP boys giving the awards out, then it's the most relevant, it's the most honest, it's the most unfiltered, if you will. So, we are here to give you the best of the best. A couple of categories. We're going to tell you why. We might not tell you why because we don't owe anyone an explanation. But without further ado, Mr. WrestleDrop, what are the categories?
Let's not get down to the juicy bits just yet, like Wrestler of the Year. Let's start a little bit, let's start light. Let's start with something light-hearted. Most Improved Wrestler. Male wrestler, because we got female and male. Let's start with BeanieBoy. Most Improved.
Whoop that trick. What?
Oh, I can see it.
I like it.
I can see it.
Yeah, man. Really.
I got someone else though. Do you guys both have trick?
No, I don't think MPKH has trick.
MPKH, what you got?
Well, given the fact how you two meat glaze over this guy,
thank you.
I'd say Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
Dominic is in my list, just not this category.
Okay.
Not this category, but he's there. He's there.
Trick's in my list, but not this category.
Dominic Mysterio as a vote. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
See what we mean when we say not as people. That's what we mean.
Yeah, no, for me, Dom this year has, like, where he was last year and where he is this year. I know it started last year, but the guy's levels. But Trick as well. Trick was just a mouthpiece for Melo last year. Now he's...
That's fact.
Now he's arguably more over than Melo currently at this
point. Now he's his own man.
So, hey, man.
Those are fair picks.
So, who... I think let me just preface this by saying we're not going to have like one solid award. We're each going to give our awards. Am I right in saying that? Yeah. So we're each going to give our awards. Because if we must argue and it's going to be long. And I don't have patience to argue with these, man. I don't have patience. So let's move on to the next award. Is what?
As much as I love the chaos, let's keep it to a minimum.
Yeah, no, we gotta join. We gotta have videos in the future. If we had to argue, it might be the end of Stomp. Okay, next award, Most Improved Women's Wrestler. Let's start with MPKH. Who you got?
This one's a very tricky pick, and y'all gonna give me a side eye for this one. But hear me out on this. I know she just returned, like, I think it was August, but I'd say, from what I've seen so far, I think Nia Jax deserves a shout.
Hey, man, I'm not gonna deny that.
Because because if you think about it, she's literally the most hated women's wrestler in the IWC because she hurts so many people. But now you can see that there's a lot of improvement, and many people won't want to admit it, but yeah. She's made the Raw Women's division 10 times better. Not because she's been in main roles, but she's made it more exciting to watch.
Look, that's not my pick, but I back that. Because on the mic, she's gotten better. I have to admit. Yeah. In the ring, she hasn't hurt anybody yet that we know of. So that's improvement. That's improvement in itself.
Exactly.
She hasn't put anyone on the shelf yet. So that's improvement in itself. But I back that. BeanieBoy, who you got?
Nia Jax, bro. Nia Jax. I think.
About Nia Jax.
It's Nia Jax, bro. I think having arrived, we all thought, oh God, how long is it gonna take for it to flop?
Yeah.
And I mean, from August to now, the fact that she's involved in the women's division, you can't ignore Nia Jax right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now she's heading into a feud with Becky Lynch, who I'm sure everyone can agree is the best person to work with, whoever you are. And that feud might fall flat because it's Nia Jax, but like MPKH said, no one gave her the time of day.
Yep.
And now she's back. She's a mainstay. She's wrestling every week, if not every second week. and she's actually putting in decent performances, like you're saying on the mic as well. So for me, it has to be Nia. Has to be Nia.
For me,
for sure.
I went the AEW route and I said Julia Hart, because Julia Hart last year was just the House of Black's side piece. That might be the wrong phrasing, but she was just there with the House of Black doing spooky shit.
You see now?
No. Anyway, now this year she's been in good matches. Her matches have got. She's kind of giving me that Liv Morgan vibe of her trajectory, if that makes sense. Like going from a soft looking wrestler, someone that just needs a little bit more about her, and then she's done that this year. She's now the TBS champion. She ended
Chris Statlander.
I was about to say Jay Cargill, but anyway, I don't know why, because I was thinking Statlander beat Jay Cargill, but anyway. So I think for me it's her. And I think she's had more time than Nia Jax, but like we said, we're not going to debate whose pick is more valid.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next award, which is similar but different. That is the Breakout Star of the Year. Men's Breakout Star of the Year. Who are we going? Let me go first now, because I mentioned I got Trick in one of my things, and that's where I'm putting Trick. I think Trick has really broken out this year. He was nothing last year, as in not nothing, but he was just Melo's mouthpiece, even though he didn't need a mouthpiece, but anyway. And now he's challenging for the NXT Championship. So for me, Trick Williams, Breakout Star of the Year. BeanieBoy, what you say?
I can hear that.
This is where we're flipping it, because this is where I'm putting Dominic Mysterio.
I back that.
I mean, it's tit for tat, you know what I mean? And everything you're saying about Trick in this category is how I feel about Dominic. Dominic is a guy who people said should get relegated to NXT, you know, and now he's made a name for himself, not only as a wrestler, but as a hated person. You know how hard it is for people to get behind a character, especially if people feel like they can see through it. Yeah,
exactly.
If people are not buying your story, then they're not going to boo, they're not going to cheer. You're just going to be there. You know what I mean? Yep. But Dominic, whether the sounds have been filled in or not, is hated. And Dominic is the type of guy who throughout the year, I swear to you when I say he was in my top 3-4 wrestler of the year. Because bro has put in the work.
Have you seen how many matches he's had this year?
Bro.
He's close to being
he's even got
the wrestler with the most matches, right?
Yeah.
I think he's in the top 3, or there's like 5 between. There's like 5 matches between the top 3, I think, or something like that. I don't remember the exact stats. But
Dominic's been putting in the work, and if my wrestler of the year didn't do bits like he did, Dominic would definitely be up there. So for me, Breakout Star has to be Latino Heat Dominic Mysterio.
And bro, that match versus Dragon Lee at Deadline.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So MPKH, who you got? Did I miss something?
Because seeing as we all got different picks, my pick has to be the man that everybody is talking about, the megastar, L.A.
That's probably the most valid, actually. Yeah, it's probably the most valid. I'm not gonna lie. The man went from Max Dupree.
The man literally had
who I realized
literally a model agent last year, and then he reverted back to his old self and is possibly the most, if not one of the most over talents in wrestling today. I mean, literally, he went from a model agent to the top, to the megastar.
Look, I like LA Knight.
Couldn't have asked for a better success story.
But I'm too scared to give my real opinions on LA Knight. But I do like him. But yeah, we'll move past that.
Let's hear the real opinions.
No, I just think in the ring, like, take the mic away from him. I get bored. Like,
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's just the same. He's got his thing where he jumps up the top rope, and that's like the coolest thing he does and the most exciting thing he does. Other than that, I'm getting the Miz vibes, but even the Miz lately has been pulling off moves, so I can't even say the Miz. So, but I do like LA Knight. That's not me trashing the guy. I do like him. All right, let's move on to a bit of the juicy stuff. Pay-per-view of the year. What are we saying, boys?
Hey,
I think BeanieBoy go first. I see you guys are thinking hard.
No, it's one of those you've got 5 seconds to change your mind type of things. Because I haven't said it yet, but I don't think I will. Money in the Bank 2023.
In London.
My thing with Money in the Bank was the men's Money in the Bank result, and that's the only problem I have with the event.
But other than
Cody
that,
Rhodes
versus
Cena,
we got Cody,
exactly,
Jay,
Cody versus
Jimmy,
Dominic.
Roman. Yeah,
we've got Roman getting pinned.
Yeah,
That pay-per-view had to be one of the best put together. I'm not saying all the matches were perfect. I'm not saying it was top to bottom best booking decisions, but that pay-per-view was so well put together.
And the crowd.
What you want from an event is for something to happen that people will not forget in the next 5 years. And I will not forget the time Jey Uso pinned Roman Reigns. I will not. I will not let that happen. So that's it for me.
Unfiltered, what you saying for pay-per-view of the year? Yeah.
Well, I know y'all will look at me sideways for not saying Money in the Bank 2023, but I think WrestleMania 39 deserves a shout. It deserves a shout.
For sure.
Maybe night one, yes. Night two, it was a bit of there was some ups and downs, and I know the biggest down of them all was Cody not finishing the story. But if we look at it from WWE's perspective, they chose the history side rather than the crowning moments, as we all know. Majority of our fans did not think Roman Reigns was going to retain. A small portion, yes, but not majority of us. And if we look at it from top to bottom, there was matches and if we look at it from top to bottom, we obviously had the best women's match of the year, which we'll get to in a second. We had one of the best tag team matches of the year. And also, what else did we get that time?
We had Omos versus Brock Lesnar, match of the year. Was that this year? That was this year, right?
Yeah,
it was.
Okay.
It was this year. 5-minute showdown between two beasts, and they killed it. Simple. Omos is better than Okada, y'all. Sorry to you New Japan sexuals.
Wild.
That is wild.
Okay, I've also picked WrestleMania, but night one specifically. I think night one was perfect. If Cody finished the story, Mania would have been it. If Cody finished the story, Money in the Bank might not have happened the way it happened. So Jay pinning Roman wouldn't have been a big deal. So I think it's all in hindsight, but I went WrestleMania night one.
Fair.
I think it was all valid. Yeah. I think none of us have really had anything outrageous yet, which is quite surprising.
Not yet.
All right.
Some of us, because we all have outrageous opinions, but it's going to get outrageous.
Yeah. I think this is a good one to move on to, which is moment of the year.
Is there any other?
I don't have the one you guys are going to say.
Okay, mine is obvious then. If you're already assuming what I'm going to say, then it's probably it. It's CM Punk returning to the WWE.
MPKH, have you got the same?
That's my moment of the year.
R-Truth's return, y'all.
I'll back that. R-Truth kicking out JD McDonough out of Judgment Day.
CM Punk's return. Come on.
I've got Sammy turning on Roman as my moments of the year.
That actually deserves a shout.
Because I just think CM Punk's return was just a shock factor of this is something that's happened. Whereas Sammy's moment was built up with actual wrestling, actual storyline, actual products that you watch week in, week out. You know, CM Punk could have returned at any point, at any time, and it would have been a shock. But Sammy...
And I think that's my point, though.
To get that level of reaction from us, because if you go back and watch our reactions to that moment...
Yeah.
It just feels so long ago because that was January of this year, almost last year. So it just feels so long ago that I think we forget. But for me, it's that moment. I think
And I'm not discrediting that by any means. But my thing is,
I agree with that
was supposed to happen, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Sammy was supposed to turn on Roman. And that doesn't take anything away from the moment, because that moment is where we are now, even 12 months down the line. But for CM Punk to return when people speculated but no one was sure, after everything that has happened, I think for me, and I'm not advocating, like I'm saying, I'm not saying this is better than your pick, not by any means, because both are great. But for me, I think the fact that, okay, I'm over it now because it's done, but I just did not see it happening. And if I knew it was going to happen, I still wouldn't have believed it, you know?
I hear that.
So that's why
I was one of those guys that believed Punk wasn't going to return.
Bro, you were sure. You were laughing at everyone saying, you guys are going to be disappointed. I was just there like, maybe.
Because literally, if you think about it, I had my reasons, because you not know how much trash CM Punk was spitting at WWE for like what, the past 10 years or so.
Facts.
Because come on.
Which makes the moment even bigger.
It did shock me in a good way, and I didn't see it coming. So yeah.
I think I just gave the wrestlers my words. I think I just gave the wrestlers and creative the benefit of the doubt, and the fact that they built to this moment rather than just hiring another guy that left another company, you know. So I think that's why I gave them the benefit of the doubt and went this way, because I could have easily said Punk. Like, it was either or for me. Okay.
Yeah. MPKH, what's your big?
He said Punk.
I said Punk, bro.
Are we? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. That's why he was talking about Punk. Okay, let's move on to let's get away from WWE, AEW, all of these moments, and let's say indie wrestler of the year. MPKH, who you got?
Indie wrestler. Okay, so the guy I'm gonna say, Ricardo, you know who I'm talking about here. We are the biggest fans of him right now, and yes, I know he's not an indie wrestler, but
that's what I'm about to say. If you're about to say who I'm talking about, then he's not an indie wrestler. But go for it.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, Chris Bay definitely
deserves I thought you were going Will Ospreay, but go for Chris Bay, I guess. He's definitely not an indie wrestler.
What the hell?
Will Ospreay's more of an indie wrestler than Chris Bay, bro.
Not like okay. Now, obviously, I was gonna say we're the biggest fans of him. That was kind of the hint.
I get that. So, there's a lot of people, so go for it.
So I've been following Chris Bay since the New Japan Juniors Tag Tournament when he was tagging alongside Ace Austin.
Yeah,
and
that's myself as well.
Really caught my attention. Him and Ace have been doing his thing, but when Chris was being booked for indie matches against the likes of James Kai, et cetera, he's been exceptional to watch, especially with him being a 2-time Impact Tag Team champ. So yeah,
you're not wrong. Would you guys classify Speedball Mike Bailey as an indie wrestler?
Yeah.
Would you? Okay.
I would.
For me, it's either him or Matt Cardona. I just wasn't sure if you guys would see Mike Bailey as an indie wrestler. So by that, I'm going Mike Bailey.
And by that, I'm going Matt Cardona.
That's also fun.
For me, Zack Ryder has had the most outstanding year. I don't care who says what. Bro has been collecting indie belts like checks.
Even a WWE Women's Tag Team Champion.
I was about to say, bro is the first ever one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. Bro. And that has never happened before. So for me, it has to be Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
It has to be Matt Cardona.
Yeah. I think Speedball was in the best of the Super Juniors tournament in New Japan as well. He had matches against...
at Impact.
Yeah, at Impact. But I was trying to think, there was another match I watched of him in an indie show, but I can't remember it right now. It wasn't Impact, it wasn't New Japan. I think it was a GCW Bloodsport match. I can't remember who it was against, but anyway. I think he's had a fantastic year. I think he's really stepped up, made a name for himself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Impact need to use him right now. I know they use him as a workhorse, but it's time to give him that title, a title again.
Put the rocket on him. Yeah, he needs it. Also, Chris Bay, y'all. Also, Chris Bay. Watch.
Chris Bay. I think Chris Bay is going to have a bigger year this year. Yeah.
Shout out.
Okay. Or should I say 2020 Bay?
Hey, that could
Moving
work. On. Weekly show of the year. What are we saying, boys? Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage. I think Rampage. Collision, NXT. What are we saying?
Raw.
My pick would have to be NXT.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, go for it.
I just wanted to say it and be done.
Just because Judgment Day's there, that's why. We get it.
Not necessarily.
Because of mommy.
Everything that's good has started on Raw this year. And Cody finishing the story. Post that, he came back to Raw.
Yeah.
And he's been working on Raw. I feel he's been the hardest worker in the brand,
sure, bro.
In the company, actually. And all that has been happening under the Raw banner. Jey Uso came back to be one of the hottest baby faces in the company.
And
that's happening on Raw. I think there's just so much happening. And Adam Pearce being an on-screen authority figure that we can actually see.
So good. So underrated.
He's so underrated. And I think that just gave Raw the element of, the element it needed to just put it apart from SmackDown. Because to a point, it felt like SmackDown was going to be the best show this year. But I think Raw just edged it. And that's due to the talent. That's due to the booking. That's due to the consistency. I think we've had better consecutive Raw shows than SmackDown and NXT shows. So for me, it has to be Raw.
Look, I'm going to say NXT, actually. I think Raw sometimes, I find myself skipping through matches sometimes. The amount of recaps we get on Raw, the commercials, it's long, bro. It's
everything.
Long. It's long.
Just too many.
I don't know how many times I can see Alpha Academy take on different members of the Viking Raiders or different members of this faction or that faction before.
Yeah, why an Imperium every week?
That exactly. I feel like that feud has been going on since January, but it's only been like a month or two. So, and I think NXT is just there's different stuff every week. Every now and then, Shawn Michaels will come up with something that catches people's attention. For me, it's NXT as show of the year. Not saying that everything is great because there's some cringeworthy moments. But I think it's consistent.
It's not too cringy. So yeah. I'm also saying
sometimes
NXT.
when they do these things. Go for it.
I'm also saying NXT. Because it's basically booking wise, I'd say it's the best consistent show to watch every Tuesday. Because like Ricardo said, you get something fresh, something new almost every week. 1 minute you're getting Roxanne versus Kiana James. The next you're getting the whodunit situation with Trick Mello, Ilya versus Baron Corbin. Hell, even Ilya versus Ridge Holland. R.I.P. R.I.P. Ilya Dragunov.
It's a story, bro. It's a work. You're being worked, bro.
Relax. I'm not one of those people that's just gonna say Ridge Holland must get fired or Ridge Holland is dangerous in the ring. I'm not that guy.
Well, he is, but
I'm not sure if you guys are gonna get this, but I think I should have changed my moments of the year to what's his name now? What is he? Oh, how did I forget his name? What's the big dumb guy on NXT? Von Wagner. Von Wagner doing his Come Tuesday promo.
Come Tuesday.
I'm not sure if you guys are gonna get it, but that promo, Come Tuesday. Yeah, anyway.
Come Tuesday, better than Pipe Bomb. I'm coming up with these outrageous opinions.
I just found that promo so funny. I don't know why. Anyway, let's move on from that awkwardness and that cringeworthy moment. Let's go Booker of the Year, Promoter of the Year, whatever you want to call it. So this is Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Tony the Snowman Khan. We got Impact's guy. Why am I forgetting his name?
Scott DeMott.
Scott DeMott. There it is. I always forget his name. I don't know why. When the camera's on, I do not remember his name. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Or Gato in New Japan. Who you guys saying?
Rebel H.
Yeah. I went HBK. I went Shawn Michaels. I don't know why. I just felt Triple H has done some very good things, but he's done some trash things as well.
Fair,
True.
but he's running a bigger ship.
You're not wrong.
He's running a way bigger ship.
You're not wrong.
I think for the moments that we've had, for the fact that there is so much to discuss about the WWE, not just in general, in this video itself, where we're not sure who the best moment goes to, or it means a lot has been done, a lot of work has been put in. And creative-wise, we're breathing new air, literally. And it feels like a different company from top to bottom. So for me, with that in mind, and the fact that he's running the biggest, he's got the biggest responsibility of everyone else, and he's doing quite well in it. It has to be, for me, Rebel H.
Look, there was a little bit of a stumbling moment when Vince came and took his seat when Triple H went to the bathroom for those couple months where he decided, I'm back.
We don't talk about that.
Bro left, came back. As soon as Triple H went to the bathroom, he was there in Gorilla with the headset on, bro.
But he gave us the same Nia Jax that we're complimenting today. So
yeah.
Amen.
So,
amen.
What can we say?
Amen.
Okay, I'd say, yeah.
I see this. Oh, you didn't pick your pick. Who do you say in MPKH?
Well, it's down to two. Two options. H would say Michaels. I know Scott D'Amore has been cooking up with Impact, turning TNA next year, but Shawn Michaels has done the most. Many people have even started the whole who's the better booker, HBK or Triple H. And we all know the
point of this award, but yes. That's literally the point of this award. You mentioned Scott D'Amore. I think I would have gone maybe question Scott D'Amore if it wasn't for these last few months of Impact. Has anyone watched Impact the last few months?
Impact has been cooking.
Nah, bro. There was a period where they were doing recaps and doing matches from back in the day, and then, bro, there was a week or two ago. Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago, they had like some Christmas show where they showed matches from back in the day because I don't know why. I think they were traveling or something. I swear I watched something like that.
They didn't have shows booked anywhere.
Yeah, I can't excuse that, bro. I don't want to watch matches from back in the day when Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan were there. No thanks. Anyway, all right, now let's get on to the good stuff. Let's start with the tag teams. Let's go tag team match of the year first. What are we saying?
Tag team match of the year.
Yeah, Unfiltered, you go first.
Well, given how I've talked good about WWE, let's go over to the AEW side. Now,
I think we got the same one.
I think this is the obvious pick. FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
Perfection.
For sure. That match was so good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
I think BeanieBoy is going to go WrestleMania Night 1 main event.
Of course. I have to. As someone who does not watch AEW, and so my brain is closed into WWE. Listen, top to bottom, Jan to December, the culmination of the 20-whatever year brotherhood of the two Canadians who came up together from the Indies. It just brought back so many memories. It brought back the memories of Kevin Owens making his NXT debut, attacking Sami Zayn, to that point where they were crowned tag team champions by defeating the greatest tag team of all time at WrestleMania in the main event. For me, it had to be KO and Sami Zayn versus the Usos at WrestleMania.
I thoroughly enjoyed that match. I think the moment was better than the match. I think the match was very, very good. Like, second best match for me of the year. I think at times it dragged. At times there were far too many super kicks.
It was a very long match.
Very long. And so was the 2 out of 3 falls. But it's a 2 out of 3 falls, so it's a different element.
It's a stipulation.
There's a different element to it. You're expecting 3 falls or a maximum of 3 falls. So it was a damn good match. I think the moment was bigger than the match. I think the match was still very good, but I'm going to go FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. I think that was if it was on a main stage like WrestleMania, for example, it would have been up there as one of the best tag team matches of all time. That's what I think.
True, because if we look at it like this, I think the Usos versus Sammy and KO had the better story compared to FTR versus BCG
all day,
and then FTR versus Bullet Club Gold had the better in-ring competitive style compared to Usos versus Sammy KO.
I think that's a fair assessment. Okay, now tag team of the year. I struggled with this, boys.
I also did. I can't
struggled.
lie to you.
I struggled.
All of us struggled.
I ended up going FTR. That's what I ended up doing. What were you gonna say, BeanieBoy?
No, I was saying I was able to find a breakout star. I was able to find a match of the year. I was able to find it, but tag team gave me shit.
WWE has not had a tag division.
Exactly. And that is why my pick will be generic tag team number 5, which is the current tag team champions and the 2-time undisputed tag team champions. Judgment Day had to be on my list somehow. And I think from what I've been seeing, yes, they haven't been putting in a lot, and yes, like we said on a previous video on our podcast episode, it's the final days of the Judgment Day. But I feel like because we're cut so thin and because they're holding the gold, they've held it twice in the span of a year, it has to be Judgment Day for me.
Yeah, look, for me, like I said, FTR, I think they didn't really have a spectacular year, but I think their run on Collision when Punk was still running Collision was really good. That was that was a really good time, and that the time before that as well was really good. But even them, they haven't done all that much compared to last year. I mean, FTR last year was hands down tenfold. No one could come close to them. You know what? I'm changing mine right now on the spot. I can't believe I forgot about this tag team. ABC.
That was my pick.
I don't know how I forgot about them.
I was just gonna say ABC.
Yeah. I'm changing my pick. I think ABC held the titles for a long time, and then they won the titles back. Had very good matches. FTR get in the bin.
They're getting
all
tag
I have
titles
to say is
exactly.
ABC versus Motor City Machine Guns. Check that out if
Great
you haven't.
match. Exactly. So I'm gonna change it to ABC. FTR get in the bin. Simple.
Yep. Yeah, ABC's my pick. Like I said, from 2022 up until now, and how they came about in their popularity, it's been top notch.
Yeah.
And and in the world of wrestling, I consider them the most underrated tag team right now.
Them and United Empire for me.
If they were, now imagine them on a bigger stage, like say they were fighting in AEW or WWE. Lord knows they would cook. Those two, they would cook.
Okay, let's move on to the women's match of the year. What are we saying? I think there's only one, and I'll stand on that hill. Not.
I think we're gonna.
BeanieBoy, who are you saying then?
My second pick is probably your first, and that's Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte.
I know you're gonna. I know who your first pick is. You mentioned.
I've said it already. I said it after watching the match. The Women's War Games match for 2023 has to be my women's match of the year. I think it's so easy to mess up a multi-man match, and that's why my match of the year also, spoiler, is big for me because it's not a one-on-one match. But it's so easy to mess up a multi-man match. But I feel like, yes, you had your issues with the match, WrestleDrop, but for me, I'm still singing the praises of every woman that was in there, even Shotzi, because everyone played their part. And the spots we saw, shout out to Io Sky. She carried that match. But in terms of people bringing what they had to the table, I don't think I can find much to complain about. Rhea versus Charlotte, classic. But with the elements of surprise and with the elements of each woman showcasing their strengths, I can't look past the War Games match. I'm sorry.
I know we said we're not debating, but there's two reasons I wouldn't put that as my main one. Number one, the outcome.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of the outcome. I kind of wanted Damage Control to get a win, even though Becky was on the other team, but we won't talk about that. And number two, if I'm were to think back to a women's match in 5 years' time, I don't think I'm going to think about the War Games match. I think I'm going to think about Rhea versus Charlotte. A classic one-on-one match that was on WrestleMania. I just think if I'm going to look back at it, I'm going to remember that match more than the other matches.
If we look at it, and if we look at how Charlotte versus Rhea was booked, it wasn't really the best, but when they got
trash build up,
when they performed on the stage, they had a classic. And many people wrote it off because we were all expecting Rhea versus Bianca at some point. But Ricardo and I made a video discussing why Charlotte versus Rhea was the right call. And
that feels like ages ago.
Yeah, I know.
Bro, it feels like I've aged 25 years, bro. But I agree. I agree. But second best match of the year, I put it as the War Games match. I can see that for sure. I back that. And I think everyone has given Charlotte so much shit this year that I think they forget how good that match was. Because Charlotte has been trash in 95% of her other matches this year. I'm not going to lie. She has not been good this year. I think there was an Oscar match that was good. But I think she also had a different Oscar match that was trash. So Charlotte's been up and down. I don't think we forget that Mania match was some of her best work. If not her best work. So... Women's Wrestler of the Year. Who are we saying, boys? BeanieBoy?
This is where I give her flowers. Arguably the most dominant woman in the company right now. And yes, her title reign is a bit questionable, but I still think that goes down to booking and having her do too many things at once. But Women's Wrestler of the Year for me, Rhea Ripley.
I hear that. Unfiltered, where are you going? Which way are you going?
Well, I'm going... Okay, I know this is going to sound like recency bias, so hear me out on this one, but I think with her current role in AEW, my shout is Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm is my pick.
It's a solid pick. Solid pick.
And I know she didn't start off the year hot. There was that whole Outcast mess.
I can't forgive that. That's the problem. Yeah, I can't forgive that.
Expect the things I won't forgive AEW for, and that's my number one pick. Outcast. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But afterwards, once the demise of Outcast happened, Toni Storm really defined her own element. She went from being pied in the face to a Marilyn Monroe carbon copy and is an even better Marilyn Monroe herself. Come on now.
She's doing quite well. I won't lie. I don't even watch AEW like that, but what I've seen from Toni Storm is
that's
quality.
The thing. You see her around even if you don't watch the product.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Look, there's two things I can't forgive Toni Storm for, and that is the Outcasts. That was horrendous, horrible. And secondly was how she won the title against Hikaru Shida, where she had the frying pan stuck in her ass, as if her ass isn't big enough and we can't all see the frying pan. And then the frying pan fell out of her ass, and then she did a roll-up, and the ref could see the frying pan, and he didn't call any DQs, but it's there. Well, she didn't call, because it was that other ref. And then she hits it with a frying pan while it's in her ass, and the ref still doesn't see it. It pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. I'm going on a tangent here.
Even Ray Charles could see that pan up her ass.
Bro,
even Ray Charles could see it.
Exactly.
I don't know who's more blind. In this world, Ray Charles or AEW officials. Like,
bro, exactly. Now, let's get on to my Women's Wrestler of the Year. Okay. She's the GOAT. I wonder who it could be. She's the GOAT of women's wrestling. She is the man. Becky, nah, I'm joking. It's Rhea Ripley.
For real?
Yeah, I can't go Becky Lynch. What has Becky done? She won the NXT title. That's
bro, it's you, bro. This is you we're talking about.
Nah, it's Rhea, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm shocked. And Becky Lynch we're talking about here, so
I'm shocked. It's Rhea, bro. Any other year?
I thought Mandem was gonna say Giulia. Well, I thought man was gonna say Julia.
Gilia.
Could have been.
Gilia. Bro said Gilia. That's cool, bro.
Forgive me for that. I don't watch New Japan like you. So
she's not in New Japan, but it's all good, bro. Technically she is. She's the New Japan Strong Champion, so you're not wrong. But anyway, Julia had a better year last year and the year before than she did this year. She still had a great year though, but not like that.
But it wasn't up to par with her work from last year and the year before.
Yeah, I think she wasn't the main champ this year, so she's not that guy, pal. So moving on, that was cringe as fuck. Match of the year, men's match of the year. What are we saying, boys? I got one. Actually, this was tough. I had a couple.
It was very tough.
I didn't go WWE. I'll tell you that now. BeanieBoy, who you going?
I went WWE.
Yeah, it's all you watch.
I didn't go WWE.
Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus at WrestleMania.
That is WWE's best match.
Talking good about Drew McIntyre. Wow.
Fucking triple threat.
That was WWE's best match this year, hands down.
That
big
fucking triple threat.
Meat.
While we were discussing, not really discussing, but when you sent the list for us to look at, and I was doing my research, of course, it's very rare to find a match where people are in such high praise of, and it's like a majority. Yeah, like you're saying, if you're looking at WWE alone, hands down. You know what I mean? But even if you're looking at other companies, that match is in the top 3.
Stands up, for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. Sure. So for me, I remember watching the match and thinking, this has to be match of the year. And this was in April. So for that reputation to have carried out up to this point, we're in December, and dozens of matches have happened since then. But for it to be so fresh in my mind, 3 of the hardest working men this year for me. And that feud was top notch. Ended perfectly with that match. For me, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther. WrestleMania triple threat match of the year.
I'll back that. Unfiltered. Which way are you going? I think we might be going the same way, but we'll see.
Probably. We'll see. But this match happened in March, and it's a match that I discuss to this day, even though I hate this stipulation in topic. I'm going with MJF versus Bryan Danielson, AEW Revolution.
Banger.
Now I know you were expecting me to say Omega versus Ospreay, either 1 or 2, but
bro, just expose my pick like that.
Come on, it was obvious.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
It was obvious, bro. You've been on an Ospreay hype.
So the reason why I say it is because, 1, I hate Iron Man matches. I get bored super easily, and they tend to be super repetitive. But
you're not wrong.
But MJF versus Danielson, it really did not make me lose sleep.
They found ways to keep it entertaining.
Watching it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's going down in my top 2 favorite Iron Man matches ever.
For
the second one is Kurt Angle versus
Brock Lesnar. If I could just add my input as a non-AEW watcher, how many of us expected MJF to thrive in an Iron Man match? Because Iron Man matches are technical as hell. And if you're watching MJF like I do, which is once in a while, you think, okay, he's ground pound, get the win, done. And then you put him in the ring with arguably the best technical wrestler to ever live. And you're just thinking to yourself, MJF is out of his depth. But for them to work that match the way they did, and the right person won again, as much as people were saying Bryan should win that match, looking at where we are now, I think MJF needed that match as champ to be where he is now. So definitely, I back it.
MJF is so underrated in the ring, man. The guy can do so much in the ring. He's so damn good in the ring. And I think people think, because of that CM Punk line where he's just a Miz wannabe or whatever he said, nah, he's not. The Miz could not touch MJF when it comes to in the ring.
Down those accusations. My boy beat those
in terms
accusations.
of in-ring work, for sure. Although, Miz is doing tilt-a-whirl DDTs and shit like that, so man thinks he's Rey Mysterio from 2006. Springboards and everything, bro. Okay, so my match of the year. Let me give you my top 4 because I did struggle, but then when I thought about it, I didn't struggle. If that makes sense. Like when I first looked at it, I was like, this could be tough, and then when I deeped it, I was like, nah. So number 4 for me is MJF versus Bryan Danielson. Number 3, the triple threat match at WrestleMania between Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus. Number 2, Kenny versus Ospreay 1 at Wrestle Kingdom. And then number 1, Kenny versus Ospreay 2 at Forbidden Door. That's how I put it. Who could have guessed that? Hey man, if it's good shit, it's good shit. What am I gonna say?
Kenny versus real, it was good shit.
Kenny versus Ospreay was just so good. Ospreay is levels above a lot of wrestlers right now, but I'll get into Ospreay more in the next one. Not to give that away so soon, like I just did. But I'm horrible at this podcasting shit. But the match was everyone. Let me put it this way: the Wrestle Kingdom match was already match of the year, and that was on the 4th of January. Okay, that was 4 days into the year, and people were saying match of the year. So for them to have to live up to the hype and better it was nearly impossible, and they did it. So that Forbidden Door match was for me match of the year easily.
For sure.
And then last but not least, we got Wrestler of the Year. And I already gave mine away, and that is Will Ospreay. The man has beaten Marufuji, Chris Jericho, Okada, Kenny Omega once. He lost to him the first time. The list goes on and on and on. He did lose to a couple. Who did he lose to again? He lost to someone in the G1. I can't remember who it is now. Damn. But anyway, other than that, he's had a damn good year. And I don't think anyone else can really come too close to him. Except for one other person, which I know you guys are going to pick. And that's probably, I won't say his name. I'll leave it to you guys to say. But he's in WWE. But anyway, Will Ospreay, who you guys saying?
Let me see. My pick would have to be, let me see. Kanta the Ranger.
Wow. That's exactly what I thought you guys were going to say. And I back it.
Sir. Yes, sir. Because literally, the man has been on a huge roll, especially with that triple threat match that you guys mentioned. And he's had awesome matches like him versus Gable, him versus Miz 2 nights ago on Raw.
Banger, by the way. Anyway.
And he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. And he brought back prestige to a title that was once not even looked at as the workhorse title anymore. It was just here's your title. Okay, move on, do whatever.
I instantly think of Ricochet when you say that.
Yeah, damn, Ricochet was the last person to hold it before, but
Gunther. And he's still trying to get it back.
Mad. Feels like moons ago, bro. I even forgot he was Intercontinental Champion.
BeanieBoy?
Yeah, Gunther's my
Listen,
pick.
it's that. It's like that. This was also a bit tough for me in the sense that I had to pick someone who ticks the boxes. You know, I couldn't just pick one person who, like MPKH said in the last video, I have his meat in my mouth. Horrible way to put it. If I did, it would be Dominic Mysterio because I'm on a Dom high. You know what I mean?
And I wouldn't allow that. I'm not gonna lie.
Meat Rider.
We've discussed it already. He's put in the work. I don't care who says what. Then it would have to be someone like Cody Rhodes, who has also put in the work, but is just falling short of story, you know. And I think that's why I'm so excited about him and Shinsuke. Yeah, that's why I'm so excited about him and Shinsuke because it's a story. You know what I mean?
That poem, Shinsuke's poem. Sorry to interrupt you. Shinsuke's poem, by the way.
Hey man, hey man,
hey man,
hey man. And then if we were to pick off of maybe say the last 2 or 3 months, I'd have an outrageous pick because I feel like Swerve Strickland is about to take it. Swerve is about to take over the entire business. And so I would have definitely mentioned him if it was a time-based thing.
I can see us this time next year saying Swerve.
Exactly.
I can see it.
Because that's already starting the momentum.
Because in the case of Swerve, he really started. Because in the case of Swerve, if I were to say he's the best, I wouldn't even believe it because he only started to pick up, like, say, around 3 months, 2-3 months
That's
ago.
what I'm saying, yeah.
Because of his feud with Hangman and the work he's doing in the Continental Classic. That's my pick for the tournament, by the way. So, yeah.
And yeah, man. And then for Gunther, it started off in January at the Rumble. And man has not lost his step. He went from the greatest Rumble performance of the recent era to that triple threat to defeating everyone who has stepped against him. Gunther is the one champion that you look at now and think to yourself, who the fuck is going to beat this man? And that is saying a lot. That is saying a lot.
Akira Tozawa.
Arigato!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, book it now.
So yeah, for me, it's Gunther, Superstar of the Year. He's earned it. And if we're here again next year and Gunther is still doing what he's doing, then probably again next year.
Just holding the world title by then.
Exactly. Because there's only one way for him to go, and that's up.
Yeah, man. Look, if you want to see a banger match, you can take my pick in Will Ospreay, and then you can take the long lost brother of Gunther and watch Will Ospreay versus Walter. So there we go. Gunther's long lost brother. Don't know what happened to that guy, but he disappeared. And then we got the skinny version of him
after NXT UK. Gunther just showed up, and we haven't seen Walter.
Gone,
bro. The skinny version of Walter just popped up, and I was like, "What happened?" But yeah, that's. Oh no, we got one more. So the most prestigious Hall of Fame. Forget about WWE's Hall of Fame. They got Donald Trump in their Hall of Fame, so it means absolutely nothing. Arnold Schwarzenegger made it into that Hall of Fame as well, so it means absolutely nothing. So
for real.
What's that thumbs down? Where'd that come from? Is that what happens?
I think I did the thumbs down, and then
doesn't work.
Here we go.
That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, it doesn't work for us. Anyway,
you need to update the app, y'all. I think you need to update it.
Unfiltered. Who's your Hall of Fame pick? Keep in mind the stays. Sorry. Keep in mind the stays in the Hall of Fame forever.
For sure.
So who are you picking?
Man, who would I put in the Hall of Fame, man? Let me go ahead and say it. Ricardo's favorite wrestler, Jon Moxley.
I think you put him in last year, bro. You put him in last year, so unlucky.
I'm kidding.
Two-time Hall of Fame.
This year.
Two-time.
I think this year.
Dean Ambrose does that.
I'm kidding. Okay, my real pick has to be Randy Orton, man. It has to be Randy Orton.
I back that.
Man came back from a brutal back injury that sidelined him for 18 months, and he comes back in the best shape of his life.
Looking like prime Brock Lesnar. Jacked.
Him and AJ are on the same WhatsApp group, y'all.
Bro, Triple H is juicing them on the sides while they off, bro.
Fuck the wellness policy.
That's Triple H, bro. If you know, Triple H is known for his comeback look from back in the day when he was injured and came back looking like a beast. So he knows what it's all about. BeanieBoy, sure. Who are you putting in? We got Randy Orton. Who are you saying?
Hey, man, my 2023 Hall of Fame entrant into the Stomp Hall of Fame has to be arguably the greatest wrestling mind of all time, a man that was taken from us way too soon. It has to be Wyndham Bray Wyatt Rotunda, R.I.P.
For sure, man.
I think
Bray.
I think this, for me, this was sadder, and there's no rank in grief. There's no rank in sadness.
Of course.
A sadness is a sadness. But for me to have lost Bray Wyatt like this, for us to have lost Bray Wyatt like this, has to be that much more sadder than when we lost Brody. And that was also sad. But with Bray, it just... It hit hard. It hit hard. I remember the day I found out. I had to call WrestleDrop immediately, and it was tough. It was very tough for someone who still had so much to offer the business. It's really hard to think we'll never see Bray Wyatt again. And it's one of those, you didn't have to love him to understand how big this was, because this was a hit for the entire industry.
For sure.
So for me, it has to be whether you want to put him as the Eater of Worlds, whether you want to put him as the Fiend.
I think we
Bray
put
Wyatt.
Wyndham Rotunda in. That's who
I'm putting Wyndham Rotunda in the Stomp Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I hear
that. I hear that.
My Hall of Fame pick was very close to the Bray Wyatt situation because he also died a couple days before, and I thought it's kind of in character with what I am because I watch a lot of classic wrestling, which you guys always give me shit for. But I'm putting Terry Funk into the Hall of Fame. I figured that someone else would pick. Yeah, I figured that someone else would pick Bray Wyatt. So I thought, let me put Terry Funk in there. So yeah, another legend, changed the game. He was working ECW. His work in Japan before that, way before that. Terry Funk, one of those guys, known more for his hardcore wrestling, but his actual fundamentals in wrestling was top notch as well. So yeah, that's our Hall of Fame picks: Randy Orton, jacked Randy Orton, Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, and Terry Funk. Solid, very balanced Hall of Fame. Awkward clap. Yay.
Made it into the most prestigious Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no clapping emojis. Sure. That's crazy.
Bro's expecting too much now. Zoom is not that special.
Maybe I gotta calm down a bit. I am a
Anyways,
fan
that was the Stomp Wrestling Awards. A shit show of a podcast, but we got through it in the end. If you guys made it through in the end, which I absolutely doubt you did, but if you did, just know you're a real one. Like, honestly, if you made it through all of this without skipping.
You won, baby. You won.
Yeah, no, you're the GOAT then. So, anyways, guys, that was it. Any last words?
Hey, man. Can't wait for 2024.
Yeah, boys. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Starting with the Rumble. So
wait for 2020, babe.
Expect some Royal Rumble content coming soon.
Of course.
Hopefully good content. Hopefully consistent content. And 2024 is a new year. New things for Stomp. I'm excited to see what we do. I mean, boys, I know this has been very long, but just think about where we were last time we did these awards.
Hey,
Instagram chilling on 150 followers.
Hey, man.
Now we're over 2,000.
Actually, now that you mention it, I think we'd be remiss to not thank the Stomp family.
For sure.
It's been crazy where we are now, and
we're still small though. But for us, it's
exactly. And
carry on.
But I think that's the point I'm trying to make, that we're just three guys who seemingly are insignificant. But if you're from South Africa, you know about Stomp, and that is the fans that we have, the people who have been from day one, right or die. If I could, I'd put all of you in the Stomp Wrestling Hall of Fame because the support this year has been mad. So from all of us. From all of us. Thank you. Like WrestleDrop said, 2024. Woo!
Big things. We hope. We can only hope. We can only put in the work for these big things. That's the thing. You know, we're not going to be one of these YouTubers. I expect big things, guys. We're going to change everything. Nah. We're going to put in the work. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully we reach our potential. Hopefully that happens. But yeah, as I was saying, Insta was on 150. Now we're over 2,000. TikTok was on like 1,000 something. Now we're on 6K. Even though we've neglected that, unfortunately. It's just how it is. I'm keeping it real. Rest in peace, TikTok.
We're going to get back to TikTok consistently, y'all.
RIP TikTok. Those 200 views, bro. 200 views on a video that you put 6 hours in. TikTok makes no sense. The YouTube channel, what were we on? Maybe 300? And then now we hit 1,000?
1,000.
Crazy. 1,050, by the way. But anyway, don't forget that 50.
Mad.
So
time fucking flies.
Yeah, guys. That's it. That's it for the Stomp podcast. This might be one of the last videos you guys see of us this year. So thank you again. So, anyways, guys.
Until then, we'll see you guys in 2024. Peace.